The past perfect continuous. You see, let me show you something by illustration. You see, in the past perfect, the one we did last week, we are here now. We are here now. Is where we are. If we have an action that happened here, maybe yesterday, this one is yesterday. Yesterday, this one is yesterday. Yesterday, maybe at 8 p.m. at night. And then again, yesterday in the morning, this one is 8 a.m. in the morning. These are how many hours apart? They're about 12 hours apart. So Idil arrived at 8 a.m. in the morning. Sagal arrived at 8 p.m. in the evening now. So they arrived yesterday. Both of them are past. But then if you have two pasts like this one here, for us to know the action that happened first, which is now this one for Idil here, we normally say had. We normally put had. And of course the participle. If it is arrived, participle is arrived. So when Sagal arrived at 8 p.m. at night, in fact, Idil had arrived. So if Sagal says, I arrived very early, Idil will say, when you arrived, I was there. In fact, when you came, I had come. I had arrived earlier. Why is she saying I had arrived? Because it is the action that happened earlier. Sagal was born in 2005. Idil was born in 2004. So when Sagal was born in 2005, Idil had been born. Oh, okay, earlier. Yes. Sagal came to Kenya in 2020. Shamso came to Kenya in 2015. So when Sagal came in 2020, she found Shamso. Yeah, Shamso had come. When Sagal came to Kenya, Idil had come, or Shamso had what? Had come. So had come is what we are calling now the past perfect. That's what we did last week. I was just only bringing you up to speed. Yeah. Now, today is another topic that is very easy to understand. You see, when I say Idil had come, it only tells me the action that happened earlier. But, if this action which happened earlier did not happen like once, it continued for some time in the past, and then of course stopped in the past. We call this action the past perfect continuous. Again, past perfect continuous is when there's an action that happened in the past and it continued for some time, and then again it stopped in the past. That is called the past perfect continuous. Many people sometimes ask, what about the present perfect continuous? In fact, the past tense of present perfect continuous is actually the past perfect continuous, because present perfect continuous is from that time, like now Shamso has been working with Hormuz. So meaning from 2015 up to now, this is the present perfect continuous. Okay. Idil has been living in Bosaso from 2010. So 2010 up to now has been living is present perfect continuous, because it comes to the present. It comes up with the present time. But for past perfect continuous, it starts only from here, past, and continued and stopped in the past. If it came to the present here, we call it the present perfect continuous. But now it started in the past, continued to the past. This one is from past, it continues to present. In fact, the present perfect continuous is like Abdullahi Farmajo, because Farmajo has been ruling. Farmajo has been ruling from February 2017, of course, up to now. And that is why we say Abdullahi Mohamed Farmajo has been ruling in Somalia for 7 years. Okay, he has been ruling for 5 years. Yeah, 5 years now and 1 month. He has been ruling for 5 years and 1 month. Why am I saying he has been ruling? Because it is from that time up to now. But today we are not doing that. I was only saying this is the past tense of that one. Now, this other one, past perfect continuous, can be any president who is no longer in power, even Donald Trump. Donald Trump, 2016, past up to 2020, past. So you can say Donald Trump had been ruling for 4 years before he left power. Yeah, he left power in 2020. But before this time, he had been ruling. He had been ruling. Even Said Barre also, 1970 up to 1991. So before he left power in the past, Said Barre had been ruling for 20 years. Even Moi also had been ruling for 24 years. Even Abdullah Yusuf had been ruling and then also stopped. Even Barack Obama had been ruling from 2008, ruling. So he had been ruling for 8 years before he stopped, before he left power. Even George Bush also had been ruling from 2000 up to 2008. Yeah, he had been ruling for 8 years before he left power. But Farmajo has been ruling because up to now. Uhuru Kenyatta has been ruling for 8 years. Yes, Museveni has been ruling before most of you are born, actually all of you, I think so. So Museveni has been ruling from 1986 up to now. He has been ruling. Yes. Idi Amin had been ruling 1971 up to 76. So he had been ruling for 5 years or 7 years, like that. So the thing is that past perfect continuous tells us that activity that started in the past, continued in the past, continued, and then stopped in the past. It does not come to the present, okay? That is the past perfect continuous. So when you talk about the past perfect continuous, it is something that began, continued for some time, and then it stopped, and then it stopped, and then it stopped. Yeah. So earlier on, I told you that past tense of present perfect continuous is past perfect continuous. True. One day Farmajo is going to stop ruling your country. I don't know when, but when he stops, another president takes power. So I will now say Farmajo had been ruling, but if it is still ruling now, it is going to be what? Has been ruling up to now. So I hope you now have a rough idea. You have a rough idea of what the past perfect continuous is. It is from the past, it continues and stops in the past. So that is the idea. So let's now look at the book now. Past perfect continuous. You see, yesterday morning, I got up and looked out of the window. You see, this man got up. The sun was shining, but the ground was wet. It had been raining. You know, it had been raining maybe from 8 p.m. at night, rain, maybe until maybe like 4 a.m. And then the rain stops. So when it stops, you will see water everywhere. But then the sun came. Look at the picture here. Look at the sun. Look at the sun there. Is it still raining now? No. But look at the ground. Look at the ground here. Very wet outside there. So when you see a lot of water on the ground, it means there must have been an action that had been going on in the past, because it began in the past and finished in the past. But it continued for some time. Yeah, so it was not raining when I was looking out of the window. The sun was actually shining, in fact. but it had been raining before. So had been ing is the past perfect continuous. So ladies and gentlemen, past perfect continuous is for an action that began in the past. It continued for some time, and then again, it stopped in the past. It doesn't come with the present. No, no, no. If it comes with the present, we call it the present perfect continuous. But if it started in the past, continued, 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 and stopped in the past, okay? And stopped in the past. That is going to be the past perfect continuous. Yes, like my friend Mohammed Hamid, he was in Congo from 2010 and lived there up to 2015. He came to Kenya. So Mohammed had been living in Congo from 2010 up to 2015. So why am I saying he had been living there? Because he started 2010, it passed, continued until 2015. And then he came to Kenya. So he had been living for a long time. He had been living there. Yes. Before you moved to a new place, you moved in the past. But I know that you had been living. You had been living for some time. You had been living there. Before you moved to where you are now, I know you had been living in a place for some time, isn't it? Yep. So more examples. My hands were dirty because I had been repairing my bike. Oh, yeah, when I met you, my hands were very dirty yesterday. It is because I had been repairing, you see? Means I started repairing. And then after that, we met. So before I met you in the past, there's something that I had been doing. What is it? I had been repairing my bike. Tom was tired when he got home. Of course, he got home in the past. But before that, he had been working hard all day. Yes, he had been working hard, meaning that he started working hard in the past, continued until the end, and then I went home, which is also past. I went to Madrid a few years ago and stayed with a friend of mine. She had not been living there very long, but she knew the city very well. Yeah, remember, you can also have negative sentences, not only positive. So you can say that something had been happening before something else happened. Like, yes, Abdurrahman had been playing football, okay, when it started to rain. So you see, playing, started playing in the past, playing, continued, and then stopped in the past because the rain came. So you see, we had been playing tennis for about half an hour when it started to rain heavily. Someone says, I had been studying in Somalia from 1988, very good university, from 1988. So I had been studying until 1991 when the war started, then I left. You see, this person had been studying before he left and went to Sweden. Yeah, he had been studying actually there. I have another cousin of mine also who is there. He had been studying in Mogadishu from 1995 up to 2005. And then he left to another country. So, but he had been living there for a long time. Before you moved to where you are now, I know you had been living in a place. Yes. And where you are now, you can now say, I have been living here. I have been because it is from that time up to now. So that is it. In fact, number B is saying what I've been telling you. You see, compare have been, present continuous, present perfect continuous, and had been, ing, the past perfect continuous. The difference is very clear. Present perfect continuous, something began in the past and continued up to now. Like now, I have been teaching for 1 year, meaning from that time up to now. But when you say I had been teaching, I was in Somalia in 1995 up to 2001. So I had been living in Baidoa. So 1995, living in Baidoa up to 2001. Am I still there now? No, I stopped in the past. I started in the past and stopped in the past, but I continued for some time before I stopped. So I had been living in Baidoa before I came. How was it? It was nice. I had actually been living there for 6 years before I moved. I moved in the past, but before that, I had been living there. That is why you see this picture here. It says, I had been, meaning started somewhere I don't know in the past and continued until the past. But it does not come to now. No, 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 no. Past perfect continuous does not come to now. It doesn't come to now. Look at the examples here. Number one here. I hope the bus comes soon. Eh? I have been waiting for 20 minutes. So this man is even waiting up to now. Even before now he's waiting. James is out of breath. He has been running. So as I'm talking, James is out of breath. When someone is out of breath, is what? Panting. So someone is out of breath. You can see the results now. What about the past perfect? Nothing comes to present. At last, the bus came. You see, the bus came maybe yesterday. But before the bus came yesterday, I, Anega, had been waiting for 20 minutes. Yes. Today, Sagal came at 6:48. Yeah, she came today at 6:48. But before this time, when she came in the past, we had been waiting. Mohammed also came today at 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock is past. Now it's 7:11. Before this time, we had been waiting for Mohammed also. Are we still waiting for him? No. But we had been waiting for you before you came in the past. So that is fine. That is fine. That is fine. So let me see whether we have a small problem.